Hello, everyone. All right, so this is Ziki here. All right, like I said, I have decided to share some sports news on this channel to align with every other platform where we are. Remember, we are on Facebook, Sports with Ziki Media, doing very well. We are also on WeChat. We are on other platforms as well. So what you're going to do is from today onwards, we're going to be sharing some news about sports, and this is going to be our first live stream and other posts that you're going to be sharing. So let's take a look at the World Cup qualifiers that are currently going on. As we look at Zimbabwe, we look at South Africa, we look at some other interesting games as well, the positions, the group standings, and how they performed, and other things that fall under that category. Okay, now let's get straight into it. Very disappointing results there coming from Zimbabwe, where Zimbabwe was beaten by Lesotho. And, a lot of complaints there. Of course, we already know that a lot of things are in the disadvantage for Zimbabwe, coming into these games. One, they are playing their home games away. That's a disadvantage, and also just having, a coach who is an interim coach. Remember, the first one that they had to leave, and then they had to find another one to replace them. So there's no permanence in Zimbabwe. There's no consistency in terms of, leadership and everything. So that as well might also disturb the players. However, we saw them playing very well. Also, they fielded some young players who were in Europe, this and that. And of course, we have seen a lot of complaints when it comes to the goalkeeper. So we are hoping that in the upcoming game against Bafana, they're going to change some things, and they're going to, at least take some points, because currently Zimbabwe is sitting on the 6th position. That is the bottom of Group C. Okay, and this is not good for them. That's very, very bad for them. They have to make sure that in the upcoming game against Bafana, they collect the maximum. Of course, very good for Bafana. We saw them going to traveling to Nigeria, and they collected 1 point there when they drew 1-1 by against Nigeria, which is very good, because Nigeria is a very good team, and also Nigeria was on home grounds. We saw them playing very well, but unfortunately they couldn't win. So it was very good result for South Africa there, coming into this next match with Zimbabwe. So another good result coming there again. So let's continue again as we look at on Group C again. It's an interesting group. Okay, it's an interesting group when when you want to look at how the group standing is. Currently Lesotho is on top of that Group C. Is Lesotho, and we're seeing Nigeria, they are fourth with only 3 points. So this group is, like all these groups, if you want to look at them, they're not really like clear cuts as we used to think. The only groups that are very, very interesting currently is Group A, where we are having Egypt with a clean sheet. They've won all their 3 games, and they're on top of Group A there with 9 points. And then there is Ivory Coast on top of Group F there with 9 points. Then there's Tunisia on top again of Group H with 9 points. These are the only 3 teams that are, playing relatively well, and yeah, they're collecting points, which is very, very good, because there will come a time when you really need all the points that you can get. So if you miss any points right now, it's going to be very, very difficult for you, going later into the games. Like I said, South Africa, they did very well. They're collecting that 1 point from Nigeria. And yeah, and also looking at how Nigeria is playing these days, I don't know what's going on. Nigeria is filled with very, very good players. They have, quality players with very, very. Or we can talk of Osmani, we can talk of Boniface. They've got #1 goalkeeper Nwabili, but their performance, we don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because they were playing with a big team like Bafana. Maybe let's just put it like that. Okay, they were playing against Bafana, so of course you expected nothing but that kind of result from them. Okay, so moving forward to another interesting group there. From COSAFA. I'm mainly covering COSAFA teams to see how they're playing there. Zambia Chipolopolo boys lost to Morocco 2-1. Another bad result there. I'm telling you, this is also a very, very bad result. So, of course, now they are sitting on second position with 3 points, and Morocco is on top of the group with 6 points, which is very good as well. But this group, I'll talk about it briefly. This is another group where I'm not really impressed by the way they are playing. The whole group is like the sharing of points in that group is something I'm going to show you later on as I look group by group. Okay, right now I'm just picking on some talking points there. And then we have got Mozambique, winning against Somalia, very good there. And now they're sitting on 4th position, and They are sharing points with 4 other teams there. That same group, also Group G, is perhaps another leveled group. You can never say which team is going to win, because currently there are 4 teams with 6 points each in that particular group, of course, except Somalia, who was sitting at the bottom of the log there. That's another talking point that we're going to be looking at as we look group by group. And also, let's not forget about Group H, where Equatorial Guinea is there. And in Group H, there's a problem that happened, for Equatorial Guinea. But I wouldn't say that it really affected anything for them, because they really didn't play very well currently. Any game that they played, featuring Emilio Nzue, who was banned by FIFA for being ineligible to play for Equatorial Guinea, the points were taken away from them, So any other points that they accumulated when they were featuring Emilio Nzue, they were taken away. We already know about the Africa Cup of Nations, where Emilio Nzue was, the best one there, winning awards, but then everything has been stripped of him because of his ineligibility to play for Equatorial Guinea, okay? However, it did not really affect them, because currently, when they played this last game that they played and lost, of course, Emilio was not there, so that one is the one that is going to count. That is for Group H, okay? Now, let's take a look at group by group there. Let's take a look at group by group as we go on to see what is going on there. The first group that we're going to look at, I'll rather we start looking at Group A so that we don't miss the points there, okay? Let's start to talk about Group A. And as you can see here, Group A is Egypt, Guinea-Bissau, Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia, and Djibouti. Egypt is sitting pretty there with 9 clean points. They never lost a game. So I think for Egypt, they're doing very well for themselves. And we're going to see in the upcoming game that they're going to be having, which is going to be the last game for this phase, are they going to still maintain their good clean sheet? And things not looking very good for Djibouti. We've never won a game, and now they are just bottom of the log with no points there. And Ethiopia as well, after having lost there, they are not also playing very well. So these teams, they have to tie up their things. Okay, let's move on to Group B. Group B, we have got Sudan is sitting on top there. Who would have thought Sudan is going to be on top of Senegal? That's it. All right, that's it. Senegal, yes, they played very well. Now they're on 5 points. But, these draws are not really good for them, okay? They need to win to make sure that they are comfortable. Of course, we already know that they're the champions, but they need to play very well. Sudan doing very well for themselves there, winning 2 and drawing the last game that they played. DRC, they also need to turn it up because they did not play very well after losing their last game there. They lost it, and then it's not very, very good there after drawing the game. And then we have Togo, not good, South Sudan and Mauritania. That is Group B. So Group B, we are looking at Sudan, Senegal, and DRC. DRC just needs a miracle and working hard there for them to collect the maximum point. And this is Group C, the most interesting group of all the groups that I was talking about, where Lesotho is sitting pretty on top there. If Lesotho only wins their next game, then they may be very, very comfortable there with 8 points. You understand? They're followed by Rwanda, who have won 1 and drawn 1. And then Benin, they've also won 1 and drew 1 and lost 1. Okay. Now, South Africa, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe. South Africa and Nigeria used to be the favorites for this group when we were starting the group games. People used to say, well, South Africa is it, Nigeria is it. But looking at where they are right now, things not looking very, very good. And especially for Nigeria, which everyone is looking like Nigeria is the best team, compared to how they used to play in the past. But now we have seen them coming into these games and they've drawn all their 3 matches. And now they only have 3 points sitting at number 5. That is not very, very good for them, okay? And then Zimbabwe, of course, they troubled there. Very, very troubled. They drew two matches and also they lost 1. So they are sitting at the bottom of the group with 2 points. But the chances are still there, okay? More games are still coming in. No team is already right off there. All they need to do is to change their fortunes and they can play very well. So we are hoping that for Zimbabwe, they're going to stabilize, they're going to recollect and regroup and make the corrections and the errors that, to make corrections on the errors that they made in the previous game, which they lost to Lesotho there. Maybe if they win against the Bafana Bafana, they might be able to move up the ladder. But of course, it's going to be very difficult because South Africa is going to be having the support of the Bafana fans in their home ground. You understand? So that's another disadvantage Zimbabwe is going to see that. But of course, it doesn't matter as long as you are organized, you can play very well. So Group C is one interesting game there. As you can see, Rwanda, Benin, and South Africa, they are sharing 4 points there apiece. So any team that is going to win is going to break forth and be on top there. So this is another interesting Group C. Looking at Group D, of course, we can see Cameroon there doing very well for themselves there, winning 2 and drawing 1. That's a very good result. Same applies with Libya, winning 2, drawing 1. A very good result for them. If only they can maintain this, then they might be good to go. Angola, well, played very well, but these draws, they need to stop. Cape Verde, well, and then of course Eswatini, trouble there, losing all their 3 games, and they're sitting at the bottom of Group D. So for Group D, we are looking at Cameroon, we're looking at Libya, and we're also looking at Angola and Cape Verde. They are not yet out, okay? They're still in the game. Looking at Group E, of course, Morocco coming in there after beating, Zambia, Chipolopolo. What a disappointing result that they have there after they beat the Chipolopolo boys. I was disappointed by this match because I was looking forward for Zambia to collect at least some points there, but unfortunately they failed. They were beaten 2-1 by Morocco, and Morocco is sitting pretty on top there. Zambia on the second with 3 points. This is another group that is like, what are we looking at right now? What are we looking at? Because if you look at it, the team that is on top is on 6 points. Then we've got Zambia with 3 points, in Niger 3 points, Tanzania 3 points, in Congo 0 points. Eritrea is out of the competition, as you already know. They withdrew out of the competition, so they are not there. But anyway, so let's move forward to Group F. Group E, we are looking at Morocco, then Zambia to come out, right? Ivory Coast, we already know that these ones, they're out here to make a mark for themselves after, the AFCONs and how they performed. I'm sure right now they're coming in to make a mark for themselves so that they can register their positions, but they're playing very well. Ivory Coast, they've won all their 3 games. They are on top there with 9 points. Very, very clean game that they are playing here. And of course, if only they can win the next upcoming game of this phase, that is match day 4, that is coming this upcoming week, then it's going to be okay for them, all right? Now, Gabon, they're not playing, they're doing very well for themselves, They're doing very well for themselves, winning 2 games and losing 1. It's still okay. The points are very good for them. Then we've got Kenya and Burundi sharing points there. Gambia, well, Seychelles, not so good. And the thing about Seychelles is that they are accumulating a lot of goals, Teams are scoring too much when they're playing with Seychelles, so it's not really good for them. So for Group F, we are looking at Ivory Coast there, Gabon, of course, and some Kenya. I don't know. Group G, let's see. This is another group I was talking about, guys. I was talking about Group G. Like how? Algeria, Guinea, Uganda, Mozambique, they are all on 6 points. You understand? They are all on 6 points. And this is a group that is quite almost leveled. You can never predict. For those of you who love to put money on football, this is one group that is very, very tricky for you to put money on. Okay, but I am rooting for Algeria, for Mozambique to do very well. But we still have Botswana there. Botswana, they have, they won 1 and they lost 2 games. Not good for them. So they're sitting second from bottom there with only 3 points. Then we've got Somalia, not so good for them. Okay, Somalia is not so good for them. They lost there against Mozambique, and they are still on 0 points. So Group G is another interesting group that I was going to talk about. And then we have Group H. Group H, I've spoken much about this group because these were the first ones to play the game. So that is why I spoke much about it. This is why I commented much about this. From those of you who have come across some videos that I've already done about these football matches that are happening, I have spoken extensively about Group H. Reason being that, this is where we are seeing Equatorial Guinea suffering this misfortune where one of their players was banned by FIFA, that is Emilio Nsue, and then some points had to be taken away from them, and then some other things that are happening. They have to be fined, a lot of things that is happening for Equatorial Guinea. So, and again, they're not playing very well themselves, so they've got no points. And also, any games that they featured Emilio in the past, any points that they won, anything that's been stripped off them because they said that they featured a player who is ineligible to play for Equatorial Guinea and who happened to be their captain and who happened to be a very, very good player for them. So that is a huge loss for Equatorial Guinea there. Now they're playing without Emilio Nsue. So this is the group that I spoke about extensively. And this is the reason why we're now seeing Tunisia playing very well for themselves there. They're playing very well for themselves and they won all the 3 games and sitting pretty with 9 points, followed by Namibia doing us proud. In the previous game, the last game that they played, I was disappointed by Namibia because I thought they were going to win against Liberia. However, Liberia came in late and they scored an equalizer. So they ended up equalizing with Liberia and of course collecting only 1 point because initially they were on top there with 6 points. So all they needed to do was to win against Liberia and they were going to be sharing points with Tunisia. But unfortunately, they had to draw with Liberia. So now they're sitting on the 4th position with only 4 points. Malawi doing very good for themselves, but of course they lost their last they won their last game, which is very, very good. So for Malawi, you have seen there for 6 points. All they need to do again is to continue winning the upcoming games, like especially the upcoming game that they're going to be having for the last phase. They need to win that so that they can also, maintain these positive points because you don't want to go down of the log because the moment you are going down of the log, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you there to pick up. Namibia doing very well for themselves. I've already said it. And Sao Tome, unfortunately, no points there together with Equatorial Guinea. That is Group H for you. And then the last group that we have, of course, is Group I. Group I, we saw Madagascar there, playing very well. Another group that is almost leveled, Madagascar, Comoros, Ghana, 6 points apiece. And then we've got Mali, and then we have Central African Republic. Now, I will tell you this about this group. Any team that is in this group is very good. Never underestimate Mali, Ghana, or even Madagascar. We can see from how they've played. For Ghana, Ghana used to be that star-studded team where everybody would think like they're just on a clean sheet, they just win games and this. But of late, this is not the same Ghana that we already know from the past. Things have already changed nowadays. Even the teams that are on top right now, even the teams that are winning right now, you can see that the game plan and the game tactics and strategies, they have changed a little bit, and we're seeing supposedly small teams coming up there. All right, so these are the group standings that I've given to you. Of course, I've spoken about the 3 teams that have got clean sheets. So let's see some of the upcoming games that we are going to be seeing in the coming days. Of course, yesterday they played their final games. Okay, so now let's go and see which games are going to be coming up this coming week after we saw the last games that were played by these teams. Okay, I'm looking forward to Zimbabwe, doing something right. Okay, I'm looking forward to Zimbabwe doing something right for the first time, you understand, because it's really getting so disappointing, you understand, how they are playing there. So of course we're seeing that Sao Tome is going to be playing against Liberia there. Liberia, after drawing to Namibia, I am sure they're going to try to do something because this is going to be the last match for this phase. So every team wants to go on a break leading or at least with maximum points. Then we're also going to see Djibouti taking on Ethiopia, DRC taking on Togo. All these games are going to be played tomorrow. Mauritania taking on Senegal. This is a big one for Senegal. Namibia taking on Tunisia. Oh my God. This is a game that I'm not going to miss for anything. I will tell you this. I'm not going to miss this game for anything because this is a do or die. You understand? If Namibia wins, then it's very, very good for them. They're going to be on top of that group. If Tunisia wins, then it's clean sheet for them. So this is quite an interesting game that I'm going to be watching. Of course, Somalia, Botswana, interesting one as well. Madagascar, Mali, quite an interesting one. Equatorial Guinea, Malawi, well. Of course, I will be rooting for my Malawi COSAFA team to do wonders. Equatorial Guinea, they are demotivated. They're not playing very well currently. Okay, so I'm hoping Malawi is going to do good for us. Benin, Nigeria. Oh my God! If only Benin can work out something there. If only Benin can work out something there, because they've been playing very well. But of course, Nigeria, after after drawing to Bafana, losing some points there, I am sure they will fight it all out. The Bonifaces, the Osmanis, they're going to fight all out to make sure that they collect those maximum points. However, Benin is going to be on home soil, but these are brothers, so we'll see how it's going to be. Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, an interesting game to watch. Uganda, Algeria, wanting to break a tie there, sharing 6 points apiece. So Algeria, of course, they'll be trying to make sure that they remain on top because, no one wants to sleep, going into the break. No one wants to sleep there. They're sharing 6 points apiece. So in Uganda, playing very well themselves. Guinea-Bissau as well against these Egyptians. The Egyptians are on top of that group with 9 points, very clean. They're playing very well, all out. Salah doing very well with his team. So yeah, Guinea versus Mozambique, a good game there to watch. The thing is, some of these games they're played at the same time. So sometimes I'm failing to watch games. So I have to be moving from one game to another game, looking for, to see how all the teams are performing, like what I was doing last time. Ghana, Central Republic, good game there. Kenya, Ivory Coast, a game not to miss. Ivory Coast, of course, trying to maintain, their status. They're trying to maintain, a clean sheet for themselves so that they can be comfortable, not having to worry about any other team playing advantage on them. So South Sudan and Sudan, brothers there playing. Mauritius and Eswatini, another interesting game there. Zambia, Chipolopolo, Tanzania, I'm not going to miss this one as well. It's going to be a very interesting one. Zambia, after losing them, I'm sure they'll be trying by all means, to collect those maximum points. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves slipping down and under. We've got Chad versus Comoros. Lesotho, Rwanda, another interesting game. Rwanda playing very well there for themselves. Lesotho as well on top of the group. Of course, they're going to look at keeping those points for themselves so that at least they are in that position where they can maneuver. You never know, Lesotho might end up qualifying to the World Cup. Wow, my God, just for the first time. So I hope they're going to play very well against Rwanda and collect those maximum points so that they maintain their position on top. We've got Cape Verde versus Libya. I know a lot of people, the game that you are all looking forward to, South Africa versus Zimbabwe. Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you this. This game it's gonna be played on Tuesday. Okay, this game is going to be played on Tuesday. Of course, these games are being played and some of them midweek. However, I know I'm expecting a crowd. Okay, I'm expecting a crowd. Number one, I am expecting a good match there, Zimbabwe versus South Africa. This match has been talked about a lot. And South Africa is coming in after that draw with Nigeria. They're really going to be fighting it all out to collect those points from their neighbor, Zimbabwe. We have seen how they performed very well, the Mohenas, the Pesitaos, their goalkeeper is also very good. So for them, every area is covered, evenly there. Of course, maybe they're going to make one or two changes. I haven't followed, how they're going to, the predictions and everything. I've not yet followed the news after their last game with Nigeria. So I'm going to go and see what's there, what is happening. Are there going to be any other changes? So I can speak for Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe right now, they are recovering from hammering from Lesotho. They are a little bit demotivated. Zimbabwean fans are not very happy. They've been buyed or left, right, and center. The goalkeeper for Zimbabwe, having being criticized for how weak he was on the goalpost, his failure to be composed around the goalpost, letting loose some little balls, you understand? And the defense for Zimbabwe leaving a lot to be desired for, because it seems like there was a very, very open side that Lesotho could just easily be running around in their half, So that's another thing about Zimbabwe. We hope the coach himself is going to look at it, because a lot of people have spoken about it, and also maybe in terms of changing some players who were left out on the benches to be maybe playing in the first teams. But other than that, we are looking forward to a very, very interesting game when it comes to South Africa, Bafana versus the Warriors of Zimbabwe. This is one game not to miss, okay? I'm not going to miss it for anything. I'm telling you, I'm not going to miss this game for anything. So this is all I have for you right now. And of course, I'm going to be back with more sports news and more stories. Like I said, every day we're now going to be featuring sports news on the channel, knowing that you guys, we have not been sharing some news on the channel, but we have decided that, well, we need to bring in sports so that it can tally every other platform that we have. A lot of people have been requesting for that to be done. So this is all I have for you right now. And right about now, I am going to go on Facebook. This is where I'm going to go live as well. So my name is Ziggy, and until I come back again with more, please subscribe, stay, comment, and let me know what you think. Until then, take care.